Good morning, students. Welcome to ARK Reflections IAS newspaper analysis of the day. So we'll see the important news articles from the Hindu newspaper, starting with the Japanese Prime Minister's Takeyachi's trip to India. So yesterday, Japanese Prime Minister has started her visit to India, and she met our Prime Minister Modi. As a result, so what they have discussed. So what is the outcome of their meet? So around 129 MOUs, memorandum of understandings, are signed between the Indian companies and the several other Japanese companies, and mostly about the technology, investment, and artificial intelligence. 129. So Japanese PM Takeyachi's visit. So from the Japanese Prime Minister Takeyachi's visit yesterday, she has met our PM. If you have seen in the YouTube or in the Instagram, she has the PM, our PM made her to use the some Indian musical instrument called santur. Indian musical instrument called santur. She has tried to play that musical instrument. So that is one thing. And both PMs, they have discussed about the free and open Indo-Pacific, FOIP. Free and open Indo-Pacific, FOIP. And as the both members are the part of Quad. And they are especially when you take these two countries, geographically they are in the perfect conditions to protect the Indo-Pacific, right? So as you know here, this is China and this is the last is Japan, and this part we can call it as Indo-Pacific. So these Indo-Pacific, both prime ministers, they have discussed about there should be free and open access of Indo-Pacific region, as they want to stand against the domination of Chinese. So this is one important thing. They have strongly said about the free and open access, and they have signed almost both countries. They have signed more than 100. How many? 129 MOUs they have signed. And Japan is on track to invest nearly 1 trillion across states, including Haryana, Odisha, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and those of northeastern regions. And nearly $1 trillion investment, 129 MOUs, and nearly $1 trillion investments in several of the Indian states, including the northeast region, which is a major boost for the northeast region. Okay, so this is one important thing. And next, as we seen that yesterday, so the VBG Ramji, the mission has started, which replaced the MG Narega scheme. VBG Ramji mission has started, which replaced the MG Narega scheme, as it directly started from the Andhra Pradesh. So here you can see yesterday. Yeah, this is the thing. The VBG Ramji mission, government rolls out the VBG Ramji scheme from AP village. The Union Agriculture Minister takes part in the launch event, Mukkavaripalli village in Tirupati district. Okay, so here, what is the main differences between the VBG Ramji and MG Narega? MG, Rural Employment Generation Scheme, plus VBG, Vikasit Bharat, Guarantee, Rozgar, Ajivika, Mission, Gramin. Okay, VBG, Ramji. What is the difference? Here, it is 100 days minimum work guarantee scheme. Here, it has increased to 125 days. 125 days. And here it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Centrally sponsored scheme. Nearly 100% is sponsored by central. But here it is nearly 60:40. In special category states, it is 90:10 by the government. 90:10 by the So in a special category states, 90% funding will be the central government and 10% from the state government. And in the normal cases, like for example, AP, Telangana, these cases, 60% will be given by state, 60% will be given by center, and 40% by the state. Usually, the centrally sponsored schemes, usually it will be like this. Here also, we can see APCM says 7,700 crores will be given by center, and 4,000 crores will be borne by state for this scheme. Okay, and they have identified 4 important criteria. These all these BBG Ramji works should only do the 4 kind of category works. One is individual infrastructure, the personal infrastructure. What is meant by the personal infrastructure in the case? Like if a farmer want to have a agriculture like or the animal feeding shed, so the VBG Ramji workers will help him to construct those kind of shed for the animals, like kind of a dairy kind of assist, or some kind of aquaculture ponds to improve the aquaculture production. And core infrastructure, core infra. Core infra case means the important roads to the village, or important or reconstruction, or some kind of reconstruction of community halls, or some kind of a common assets of that village. Next important thing about the water, water related case, they will reconstruct or they will construct the check dams. They will construct the check dams, and they will do the dredging works. They will do the dredging works of ponds, so that it will be more shallow and it can store more water. And the 4th important thing is about the disaster resilience. In the disaster resilient case, they will construct the infrastructure which will help during the times of the disaster, like a strong disaster, a cyclone proof homes, or some kind of a embankment walls with the edges of the rivers. So these are the 4 areas, priority areas, where this whole BBG Ramji works will be done. And this time, usually this scheme in the previous time, it was prone to the lot of corruption from the small, like village level officer to the even the district collectors. So this time, so they are implementing the AI-based transparency models. AI-based, the artificial intelligence based transparency models, they are starting to use here. We can clearly see how the AI is penetrating into the governance. So this is a classical example of AI penetration, or you can say utilization. Best example, utilization in governance. It's a classical example. Okay, in the governance model of the BBG Ramji, they are using the AI-based transparency accountability model. Okay, very important. So next important article. From the editorials, we have 2 editorials today. We have 2 editorials today. The right to a fair trail at the crossroads. So this is very important editorial, right to a fair trail at the crossroads. So what does mean by the author is telling here? Right to fair trail. Right to fair trail at the crossroads. So he is classically showing 2 important personalities here who are facing the trail from the last 5 years in the Delhi riots case. The 2 personalities here, they are Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid. So here, okay, we are not going to the politics apart. So we'll discuss the case. So what happens here? The author is telling even the right to fair trial is part of Article 21, Article 14, right to equality, right to fair trial. So he is telling that even the right to fair trial and the quick trial. So he asked one question: how long is too long? How long is too long? So this is the question asked by the author. How long means how long in the trial period imprisonment, the trial period imprisonment, how long is it? We have to consider it as too long. Already from 5 years, those are the people who are accused are in the trial. So from 5 years they are in the trial, and they, because they are already charged under UAPA, which is anti-terror law. So because of that, their bail petitions are continuously rejected. Their bail petitions are continuously rejected. And already previously in one editorial, Shashi Tharoor, so our Kerala MP and very famous politician of the Congress party, he mentioned that our judicial system is like a black hole. He mentioned our judicial system is like a black hole. What does it mean by the black hole? Maybe if you are aware about the space, then you all know about the black hole. Black hole, it sucks everything. It sucks everything, including gravitation, including the light. Any material comes into its path, it will absorb and it will never return. Just like that, he considered our judicial system as a black hole, which you know, which evaporates a person's opportunity, life, money, and including the life, age, everything. So it's a so this is, I feel like it's little bit apt, because in our judiciary the cases will take too long. The cases will take too long. For example, you can take this case. UAPA is a very priority case. In a high priority case, the people who are accused are in the trial for more than 5 years, and their bail petitions are continuously rejected. So what the author is telling, that the judiciary should completely revamp its, like, it's fast processing of the judgments. It's the fast processing of the judgment, because the judgments in, even in the very special and high profile cases also, it is delayed. Because of that, the people who are accused, if the person is wrongly convicted, so we have one law that anyone, so any person who is accused is innocent. Any person who is accused is innocent until he is proven guilty. Until he is proven guilty. If you are accusing one person, if the police are accusing one person, if the police filed an FIR, if that FIR went to the court's premises, so in the court, if it is in the court process, judicial process, it doesn't mean that person who is accused is convicted or found guilty. So according to our constitution says, a person even who is accused is innocent, is very much innocent until he is proven guilty. Until he is proven guilty. So that is, even that, it violates the person's fundamental rights, like Article 21, Article 14, right to equality, or Article 22, right against the arbitrary punishment. So these kind of things other has discussed, and he is telling that the judiciary should quicken the process of timely delivery. So timely delivery is also very important. So we also know that justice delayed is justice denied. Justice delayed is justice denied. So we all know this famous quote. So justice delayed is justice denied. So that's why you have to quickly say that person is guilty or not. Otherwise, he has to lose his social respect among his society, and he lose his time, valuable time. He lose his energy, opportunities, and totally he lose his even the financial resources. And as a comprehensively, he lose his complete life, a prime age. Okay, so this is the problem with our judiciary. That is what the synopsis of this article. Next important article. So next article is also very important. A shot at life, a Mandasur's model of HPV vaccination. So here the author is telling about the HPV, human papilloma virus. The human papilloma virus is very much common in especially women. Cervical cancer. It can cause the cervical cancer. Cervical means the garbhasaya cancer. In the cervical cancer, in India, nearly one fourth, nearly 25% of the world cases. Here, the order is highlighting, right? Here, the author tells nearly 1.15 crore girls aged 14 to 15 years. The vaccination free, yeah. India bears nearly quarter of the. So when it comes to the HPV vaccine, the second article tells about the HPV vaccination. So it has given one case study called Mandsaur district. It is in the Madhya Pradesh. This Mandsaur district is a mostly tribally dominated district. A lot of tribals are there. So it's a case study. They have given the case study about the HPV vaccination. In the HPV cases in India, nearly 1.2 lakh cases every year. Per every year, every year in India, we are witnessing nearly 1.2 HPV cases, the Garbhasya cancers, and 80,000 deaths. 80,000 deaths. So these one can be preventable using the HPV vaccine. That HPV vaccine, it should give to the girls at the age around 14 to 15 years. The girls usually 14 to 15 years. And the government's HPV vaccination program, it was targeted about with these 14 to 15-year cases. But what is the problem here? The problem here, why this Mandsaur case study has came here, most of the girls, and especially the girls' parents were hesitated to take these vaccines. Why? Because of the lack of awareness, you can say, lack of awareness, or some kind of myths kind of thing that it will make that girl, like usually we have the social stigmas, right? The social stigmas of vaccines. Even during the time of the COVID also, we have these social stigmas. If you take the vaccines, it will affect your fertility. Same here, if they take the vaccine, it might affect their fertility, or she can't bear a child, like that. And also these Mandsaur, some tribal villages are there. These tribal villages, most of these denotified tribes who are going to the sex kind of business. Then these kind of things are there. So when in the article they mentioned that when these officials they went into the girl's home and they have asked why she is not hesitating to take the HPV vaccine, they said that if we have taken this vaccine, maybe she is not able to ready for the business. She's not able to ready for the business. Usually, like in these kind of villages, when they have a girl child, they will see it as an asset because she will be earn some money by doing this kind of a prostitution kind of thing. So among those places, especially, they are not ready to take the vaccines. They are not ready to take the vaccines, and because of the myths and lack of awareness. And also, important thing was about the transportation facilities. And most important thing, they don't have the proper comprehensive data. Proper comprehensive data. Proper lack of awareness, myth, comprehensive data, and they left the people. Mostly they were not aware, so government is not ready to do the counseling. But in this Mandsaur district, how they overcome all these problems? First, they have created the awareness. Repeatedly. The government, the ASHA workers or the government workers, they continuously visited the girls' home. They continuously visited the girls' home, and they continuously have given the counseling. They have given the counseling. And next, myths, like, so these vaccines can cause the infertility. So they have taken the help of the village heads and schools. Like in the school teachers, if instead of government person telling something, and the school teacher is coming and telling them something which has a personal, some kind of emotional connection to the students, so usually the students will believe more about what the teacher is telling comparing to the some outsider person. Even he is a government officer, even he is an IAS officer, but still the student will believe the teacher much better. So they have used the teachers, and they have used the village panchayats. Even as if we are a residents of the village, we trust our elders who are the elders of our village more comparing to the outsiders. So the government has identified this is one of the important way to communicate and contact the families and to make them encourage towards the HPV vaccination and transportation. And the government has arranged the transportation facilities, transportation facilities, so that they can come to the hospital and they can take the vaccines. And the comprehensive data is very, very important. So lack of unified data to identify clear 14 to 15 years girl is becoming very difficult. So what they have done, they have taken the multiple schemes, and they merged and they clearly identified the beneficiaries. The clear identification of beneficiaries is very important. Clear identification of beneficiaries, very, very important. So here the government have done the same thing. As a result, what happened? As a result of all these things, there is 100% vaccination rate. 100% vaccination has happened in the Mandsaur district, Madhya Pradesh. 100% vaccination rate. Clear example, if the government, there is a right root scale, root scale governance works. So what will be the result? This is the result. The 100% vaccination of HPV vaccine is done in the Mandsaur district of MP. So this is one of the great case study. Okay. Next important news. So Amarnath Yatra, it started next. Fuel prices will fall only after the cheaper crude reaches India. So this is also important. As the fuel prices increase, what happened? As a result, the food inflation has started to affect. Even our 30 rupees, 40 rupees plate meals are charging now 50 to 60 rupees, right? So with the if the fuel prices reduce, automatically might yesterday we have seen that LPG prices are reduced, and now fuel to reduce the fuel prices only when the recently decreased recently decreased crude oil, because one of the main problem when any peace deal, for example, any peace deal has done, crude oil prices will fall. Crude oil prices will fall, right? But these crude oil prices will fall, like that is today's rate. The today's crude oil, the today's crude oil, the today's crude oil prices, the today's crude oil to reach India, if it is in the shipment or the transportation, it will take at least 15 to 30 days sometimes. 15 to 30 days. If it is coming from the Gulf, it will take nearly 15 days. And if it is coming from the Europe or Africa, sorry, especially the America, US or the Venezuela, Russia, it will take almost nearly 30 days. So today's price will impact the fuel which we are using the 30 days later. So that's why it is telling that the government companies are telling that the price decrease will happen only when this discount, means the reduced crude oil, has reached to the Indian refineries. Okay. So now the rupee rate is around 95.35 paisa, right? 95 point. So when it is during the time of the intense conflict of the Iran-US, it almost looks like it has hit the 100 rupees mark. That is the important thing. Submarine cable project linking the India, Malaysia, Singapore unveiled. This is very important. A consortium comprising the comprising the Microsoft, Singtel, Tata Telecommunication, and AI connectivity platform. So what they're doing, they're laying the new sea cables to the Machilipatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Chennai, and from the Singapore. Okay. The facility is designed to cater the rapidly growing demand from the hyperscalers, GPU infrastructure providers, and the enterprises running AI training and interference workloads. So, for example, any new technology to work at present, any new information technology to work, you need high-speed data internet. High-speed internet data is very essential. Okay, that's why the internet became the general purpose technology, the GPT, general purpose technology. And even whatever the experts are telling, even India should add this artificial intelligence into the general purpose technology, so that it will improve the production of these MSMEs or the companies, and also helpful the researchers, students, and all. Okay, so dual land. So this is very important. The AI and hyperscale data centers clusters in Hyderabad, Chennai, directly to Singapore, and cloud interconnect AI hub, as well as Malaysia's emerging data center corridor in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur. This is, yeah, almost the high capacity cable is 3,600 kilometers from Singapore to Machilipatnam. Very important. I2C is it? I2C is what? I2C, the cable system. The cable system name was I2C. It is very important for the prelims, especially if you are preparing for the AP or TJ exams. This I2C is the cable system which is connecting from the Singapore to Machilipatnam, which is a length of 3,600 kilometers. Okay, very important. So next article. So yeah, you can, like, you see, this is, you can take this quiz, the health quiz. The July 11 marks the world's population day. Some questions we can able to answer. Some questions we can able to answer at least. Here the first question, that this is the number has been doing the rounds in media reports or late. What is the replacement level of the total fertility rate? So here July 11th is a World Population Day. On the occasion of July 11th, World Population Day, the Hindu has given some quiz. So the first question I will ask: this is the number. What is the total fertility rate? What is the number of the total fertility rate? We all know that the number of the total fertility rate is around 2.1. This is the ideal replacement rate. Like every woman should give at least 2 kids, then only the replacement will be very healthy. If she is only giving one, then the replacement will be not happens. Like, male and female, like when they are married, if they are only giving one child, the replacement will not be sufficient. At least they have to give 2 children. At least they have to give minimum 2 children. At present, the India's replacement level is less than the ideal replacement rate. It is around 1.9. We all know that. And almost, especially the southern states like the AP, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, they are in the grave danger. They are much less than the nation's average. They are much less than the national's average. Even the AP government has announced some schemes. Like, for example, if you have a third child, then you will get 30,000 discount. If you have a fourth child, then you will get 40,000 as a incentives. These kind of incentives, this is what going on in the southern state. The ideal replacement rate is very important. And the next question is the following statements true or false? A woman's egg increase until she reaches the puberty. A woman's eggs increase until she reaches the puberty. That is true. Woman's egg will increase because the women have a very definite number of eggs, and until it reaches puberty, it will, but it has a defined number of eggs. Okay. Here they have asked one question. In the reproductive contains the largest and smallest human cells. The reproductive system contains the largest and the smallest human cells. Name them. The largest human cell in the reproductive system is egg, and the smallest human cell in the reproductive system is sperm. Okay. So what is one of the few temporary organs of the human body that forms part of the reproductive health systems? They are asking about a temporary organ which forms during the reproduction, means when the woman is conceived. So what is the temporary organ which forms? Is placenta. The placenta is a temporary organ which forms, which helps as a food provided to the baby, nutrient provided to the baby, and also a rich source for the stem cells. A rich source from the stem cells, pluripotent stem cells, which is a placenta is a very rich source. So this is our very important, and this is the news of today, and we'll meet tomorrow with the tomorrow's newspaper. And thank you, and subscribe for future updates. Okay.